So what is your background?
Well, my background is I studied chemical engineering at New South Wales University, and then I started a career by selling chemicals and then equipment, travelled for a bit, and then started working in process and technology development, went all around Australia and the world with that. Before coming to Tasmania, I worked with the EPA on the pulp mill, and then I went to Hobart Water and now Southern Water, where I manage a group called Scientific Services.
What sort of science-based work does your company do?
So we basically have two key groups of scientists. We run a laboratory, which is generally the chemists and microbiologists, and so we do a lot of water testing and spend about $3 million a year on testing water quality and wastewater. So those people generally work in the lab and process the tests. The other group of scientists we have in the scientific services team, they look at solving problems. So they are looking at solving water quality problems, environmental problems, problems with biosolids, all the way through the water cycle. Our scientists are generally at the forefront of problem definition and then solution development. The engineers build all the big stuff like the concrete structures and the interesting pipes and dams, but the scientists really tell them what they need to build and where they need to build them. So the scientists really are at the forefront of what we do.
What kind of science graduates do you employ?
So in the laboratory, largely we have chemists and microbiologists. They're the key people there. But in other areas we employ a lot of environmental scientists. And then we have people who are sort of crossover between engineering and science. We have people with a science background in things like GIS and geographical sort of services, looking at where things are and where they should go. We have people with a science background looking at what sort of environmental impact we're having. So the scientists in our organisation can go anywhere. And my first CEO at Hobart Water was a scientist. So the scientists don't just get stuck in the lab, they get out and see everything, they get involved in everything, and they can be the CEO if they want.
How well prepared do you find your science graduates to be?
There's quite a spectrum. You get some people who come in who are really sketchy and they don't even know really why they did science or what they wanted to do. And then you kind of have people who come through who are very, very clear about what they're doing, very clear about what they want to do. They're passionate and they're enthusiastic.
Would you like a specialist or someone more well-rounded?
Does depend on the role. Some roles, particularly in the lab, largely you need a specialist. Generally, I prefer well-rounded people. I prefer to see that yes, they've got a degree, and yes, it may be relevant to exactly what they're doing, but they have these other skills and attributes that they can learn. You can't learn how to do a job at Southern Water at university. You can only learn how to do that job at Southern Water. So I'm looking for ability, and people who are well-rounded, they've probably got some more life experience, they've probably got a bit of initiative, they've tried some different things, they're open to new ideas. You could almost say people with beginner's mind, they've got an open mind, is very much people we'd like to come on board with us because we can teach them anything.
So in addition to having a degree, what other qualities would you like your graduates to have?
These things, it's not just about qualifications. So it's not just about that you've got a driver's license or you have it. What we're looking for extra in particularly graduates, number one is probably, have you got any work experience? Do you have any relevant work experience? Even work experience in a different field is important because it shows a certain amount of get up and go, a certain amount of initiative, and that's what we're looking for people. We're looking really for smart people. Our theory is that you've got a degree, but smart people can do anything. So a smart person can be taught anything, and they pick it up and they run with it. So we're looking for people who are clever, people who have initiative, and people who have some sort of experience. Beyond that, the extra qualifications they may or may not need, it's almost neither here nor there. The experience counts more for whether or not you've got a Cox ticket or not. We can always help people get extra qualifications.
Is there anything else you'd like to add?
Yeah, I suppose we're interested in people who are interested in things. It's no point having your science degree and then just going through some sort of humdrum job. And if that's what you're interested in, we're probably the wrong employer. We want to see people who have done science because they're interested in the world and they're interested in applying that knowledge and that reasoning and that thinking to solving problems.